When sailing with Royal Caribbean, there are some things you should do and some things you must do before you get ready to sail. Please watch this video so that you can be sure you are not left standing at the pier. Hi, I'm Shirley with Shirley's Journeys, and this is part 2 of my series on cruising with Royal Caribbean, What You Should Know. If you have not yet watched part 1, be sure to do that first. At 45 days prior to sailing, it's time to do your online check-in. It is easiest to do that with the app. Now, if you don't have the app, you need to go ahead and get it, and I covered that all in part 1 if you need to watch that for instructions. But once you are on the app, you're going to need to go to the check-in. Some people have difficulty with this little button for check-in, so I tend to recommend that you click on the little icon that looks like a person. That will bring you to a check-in page as well. Now, I have already checked in for an upcoming cruise, so my app that I'm going to show you will look just slightly different from what you will see. Mine has a place where I can click Edit Check-in. Instead, yours will have just a button for Check-in. So we'll go to the next screen, which is what you should see when you start your check-in. There are 3 categories. The first one is your travel checklist. You'll need your passport to fill out this section. If you gave the app permissions to access your camera, that will make everything go very smoothly because you'll be able to upload your passport and it will automatically populate all the information and you won't have to enter it all manually. Also, you will have a place to put your own personal photo. You can take a selfie or get someone else to take your picture and it will upload also. If you've not entered your picture here, that's okay. They will take one at the pier. Giving permission for it to be used for boarding as well as for photography will help. You will list your country of residence and country of birth, and if you have a Crown and Anchor Society number, that's their loyalty program, you can enter your number here. If you have sailed before, your number may automatically appear. You will have a number assigned to you by Royal Caribbean, and it would probably be on your reservation. If you have not sailed before, you can still go in and create an account with the Royal Caribbean Crown and Anchor Society if you'd like to do that ahead of time, and they will assign you a number. Otherwise, they'll assign one to you after your first cruise. Enter an emergency contact name and phone number of someone not traveling with you. Next, you will need to add a credit card or debit card number that will be used for your onboard expenses at the cruise line. Be advised, if you give them a debit card number, they will put a hold on your debit card. So make sure you have enough funds so that nothing is bounced because of having that hold at the cruise line. Finally, there's a place for you to check that you accept all the terms and the conditions of your sailing contract. Now, there is a link that you can read all of those little fine print details, and I recommend that you read it at least the first time you cruise, but really all the time. There's good information there and some policies you may or may not know that you agreed to when you purchased the cruise. You agree to abide by all of the health policies in case you get sick. There's a list of all of the protocols that they have for COVID-19. You'll see some policies regarding traveling with minors, a list of all of the prohibited items. Make sure you're not bringing anything on board that is illegal to bring on board. And there are 2 things that the cruise line has in the contract that sometimes catch people off guard. And here's the first one. Carrier may, for any reason, at any time, and without prior notice, cancel, advance, postpone, or deviate from any scheduled sailing, port of call, destination, lodging, or any activity on or off the vessel, or substitute another vessel or port of call, destination, lodging, or activity. This happens pretty frequently, actually. If weather is going to make it difficult to safely dock at a port, they may have to cancel. We've had that happen before. We've had a port completely eliminated in advance because of civil unrest in the country. The captain wants to keep the crew and guests safe and does not want to risk damage to the ship. I have family who one time had an Eastern Caribbean cruise booked, but due to a hurricane coming through, the entire itinerary was changed to a Western Caribbean itinerary. Believe me, I would rather be disappointed about missing a specific port than I would sailing through a hurricane. The other one that catches people off guard is this one. Operator reserves the right to impose a supplemental charge relating to unanticipated occurrences, including but not limited to increases in the price of fuel. I have cruised for many years and we've never had a fuel supplement added to our bill, but of course that is a possibility and it could happen. The second category in your check-in list is your arrival time. The cruise line will set specific arrival times, usually in 30-minute blocks, so that they can manage the flow of passengers arriving at the cruise terminal and trying to check in. Imagine if you have 3,000 to 6,000 people all arriving at the same time, the long lines and the chaos that would ensue. By having these arrival times, it staggers people's arrival at the pier and makes it a smoother process for everyone concerned. The majority of guests like to board as soon as they can. So those early boarding times usually are picked first. That's why most people will like to do their online check-in as soon as check-in opens up with the cruise line on the app. Once you've completed a category, you will see a green check mark. So you should have a check mark by your travel checklist and a check mark by the arrival time. This third category, your health assessment, you can't do until 24 hours before you sail. So you will get your green check mark after that is completed. Once you finish this process, you can view your set sail pass. This is your boarding pass. Once you click View Set Sail Pass, your pass will show up, as will your roommate's pass. You can, at this point, print these boarding passes, but Royal doesn't make it super easy. There is a place where you can put it on your Apple Wallet, and that's good. But what if you get to the pier and your phone battery has died? There are good reasons to have a printed copy. So I try to take a printed copy of this. The best way I can find to do it on my iPhone is to take a screenshot. Now, I don't know how to do screenshots on every make and model of phones, but if you have an iPhone 13 Pro like this one, you just press the side button on the right and left, the top one on the left, all at the same time, and that will take a screenshot. Then that screenshot becomes in your Photos section of your phone. Once you go to the Photos section then and click on that photo, you see the little send icon. You push that and scroll down and there is a place to hit print. And if you have your phone set up to a printer, then you can print off your set sail pass. Actually, I find it easier to go to royalcaribbean.com from my computer and log in from my personal computer. It's easier to see and maneuver from there for me. From here, you will sign in, manage your account, and you should find a place that you can click here that says View Boarding Pass. Once you click that, it should pop up your name and your roommate's name and a place for you to view Set Sail Pass. Then once you click Viewing Set Sail Pass, you will be able to see it and print it from your own computer. On my Mac, I go up to File and Print, and it will print whatever is showing up on the document at that point. In the past, we have never had to have both of our boarding passes. The pass has the barcode on it, the same for both passes, so it will show both names. Find a good place to start keeping up with all your documentation. I have this handy little zipper pouch, and in it I put my set sail pass. I have my invoice from the cruise that's paid for. I have my copies of my passport in case the actual original gets stolen. I do have these hard copies where I could go get an emergency one if I had to. I have my copy of my insurance information, either the policy or somewhere I've written the website down where I could get that if I need it. I store any documents of shore excursions that I may have purchased on my own, and all hotel confirmations and anything else travel related that I have a document for gets in this document pouch. I also be sure that I have an electronic version of the very same documents on my phone. My travel companion and I each take photos of our own and each other's passports and driver's licenses, just to have another record of that document if needed. Within a few weeks of travel, make sure you know where your passports are. I've had people tell me that, oh, I know where my passports are, and then the day they're getting ready to fly, they're scurrying around going, oh, well, I thought I always kept it here. Physically look for your passport. Know where it is. If you want to keep it in this little zipper pouch and you know where that's going to be, that's fine. Just be sure you know where it is and that you have it when you're ready to leave home. Okay, it's getting a little closer to cruise time. Make sure you have considered certain things about your home while you're gone. Have you arranged to have your mail held? Someone going to check on your house, water your plants, take care of your pets? Do you have any bills that are coming up that you need to go ahead and prepay? All those type things are very important for you to do and know that you've got that taken care of in advance. Another thing to consider is your medication. Make sure you have your prescriptions filled, anything that you need, and plan to take several days extra of medication in case you have some kind of delay so that you can be sure you have what you need. I also recommend getting some over-the-counter medications that you are used to using. It's expensive on the ship, and if you have to go to the medical center just for a Tylenol, you don't really want that to happen. Also, considering your destination, you may want to pack some non-aerosol sunscreen and bug spray. They will be much less expensive at home before you go than they will be on the ship or in some of the cruise ports. About 1 week before travel, check a weather app for your destination. You may want to adjust your packing accordingly once you see what the weather is predicted for the time you're going to be there. If you're flying and you have not yet downloaded the airline's app, do that ahead of time. The airline's app is the quickest way to do check-in and to stay up to date with any flight changes that may have happened already. And we know how crazy flights are these days. Speaking of that, I do hope you have booked your flight the day before your cruise. With the delays that the airlines have been having these days, you don't want to miss your cruise. And it's better to pay for an accommodation a night ahead of time than it is to say bye-bye cruise ship. Depending on the reason for the delay, it may or may not be included by your travel insurance. So you could lose what you paid for your cruise by trying to get there more cheaply with a same-day flight that gets delayed by a few hours. All right, now you're getting really, really close. Don't be packing a few hours before you leave for the airport. Finalize your packing so that you feel good about everything you have and you'll be ready to go out the door without feeling like you're scrambling. My husband and I tend to pack half of my clothes and half of his clothes in 2 different bags. That way, if a bag is delayed or lost, then we still have some of our clothes for each other. Less than 24 hours before your cruise, probably the evening before, go onto the app and you'll do your health questionnaire. This is the last little check mark that you need before check-in. Then you're going to be ready to head to the cruise ship on embarkation day. On embarkation day, make sure you do 3 things. 1, take a photo of your luggage. That way, if it gets lost or misplaced, you have a picture of what that bag looks like. Next, make sure you still have an ID tag on your bag, that it did not come off with the airport handling. All your bags should have an ID with your name and address and phone number on it. The third thing you will need to do is to attach your cruise line luggage tag. This is a specific tag for your specific cruise, and you should have received these tags from Royal Caribbean prior to sailing. They will be in the back page of the cruise e-docs that they send to you. You'll see a color copy of the luggage tag. You can make as many copies of this tag as you like. They recommend you do it in color, but it can be done in black and white if you don't have a color copier. Let me show you how this tag works. The directions are pretty simple. You fold it multiple times. You write your name where it says name. Then you attach it to your bag and staple it a couple of times. This folding over and over really makes it very sturdy and durable. Now, if you cruise often or think you might cruise often, I buy these luggage tags. You can purchase them from Amazon. They are a plastic sleeve. You can slip that luggage tag into it, and they come with a metal pliable loop that you can use to attach it to your luggage handle. Then once your bags are delivered on the cruise ship, you can just take this off, and then you still have the holder to use for a future cruise. You will need to attach these luggage tags to every bag that you plan to check at the cruise pier. You can check your big checked bags. You can even check your carry-on. Just be sure you don't check your documents and your passport. Keep those on you. Keep with you also anything valuable and any medications. But other than that, let it go so you don't have to hold on to a lot of stuff during embarkation process and you're not lugging a lot of things around. If you don't have those cruise line luggage tags, perhaps Royal never sent them to you, they got lost or you just forgot them, don't worry about it. They do have extra tags at the cruise terminal and you can have your bag tagged once you arrive. So it's not tragic, not traumatic if you don't have the cruise line luggage tags with you. It does speed up the process if they're already tagged before you get there. Make your way to the cruise terminal. It's time to get on board. If you purchased Royal Caribbean transfers, perhaps a hotel with transfers, or you're going back to the airport and have a transfer from the airport to the terminal, just follow the directions from the cruise line for how to get those transfers and what you should do. Otherwise, make your way to the terminal, and the first thing you're going to do is drop off those checked bags. Now, some terminals are different than others. Some will have porters meeting you as you get out of your vehicles, and you will hand them your bags and they will put them in these large rolling bins. If you do that with a porter, it's customary to tip those porters for taking care of your bags. Some terminals will have a line where you walk up and you are just putting your bags on a conveyor belt. When I do that, I don't usually tip those porters. Embarkation involves a lot of walking and a lot of standing in lines. They do offer peer assistance for people with mobility issues. If that is the case, they will have happy employees that will have a wheelchair and will assist you during the embarkation process when you first arrive at the first check-in section. Usually that's after you have dropped off your bags. You should make those arrangements well in advance with Royal Caribbean. Get your travel agent to make them or call in and make those arrangements for peer assistance if needed. Keep your boarding pass and your passport in your hands the whole time during this process until they say you can put it away. You will have to show it multiple times. You will go through security, very similar to what you go through at the airport before you're allowed to board the ship. Staterooms will not likely be ready as soon as you board. Usually they're ready about 3 hours after check-in opens. If the earliest check-in time is 10 a.m., staterooms are likely not going to be ready before 1 p.m. Remember, they just had a whole ship load of passengers get off the ship and they're having to clean every stateroom. So it will take them a while to have your stateroom ready. Use this time to go explore the ship. Find a comfortable place to relax and wait, or go on up to the buffet, or choose one of the other dining venues that may be open for lunch on embarkation day. Enjoy some food. This is a good time to go ahead and do your muster drill. Your muster station will be listed on the SeaPass card, and you can ask any crew member where that is. And you will have to go to that muster station at some point today, so it's a great time to do it before your cabin is ready. They will check you in so that you know, and look around and get familiar with your surroundings, because this is where you will come in the case of a ship emergency. Also, at some point today, you will need to watch the safety video either on your phone or on the stateroom TV. If you are traveling with children, you will want to go to the kids club areas to get them registered and pick up a schedule of activities that they will have available for the week. If anyone in your group plans to ride the flow rider or go ice skating or zip lining or any number of events that might be on your ship, those will usually require a signature for a waiver. If you go ahead and take care of that soon after boarding as well, you'll be way ahead of the game for all the other people that are going to want to participate in those. If you purchased specialty dining reservations for your cruise online pre-cruise, then you probably already have your restaurant date and time. But if you were given a free specialty dining as a promo perhaps when you booked your cruise, then you will need to make those reservations as soon as you are on board. Sometimes the app is already working well and you can just do it on the app. Many times you will have to go physically in person to either a restaurant kiosk or one of the specialty restaurants to get someone to help you make those reservations. If you like a prime dinner time, do this as soon as you can after boarding. because those prime dinner times will be booked up. And if you wait a few days to say, oh yeah, I need to make my reservation, you may be stuck with a very late dining time or one that's not as desirable as you would have liked. Also, if you're on a mega ship like a Quantum class or an Oasis class ship, you will have to make reservations for your shows as well. So just look for the kiosk that helps you with reservations. Could be a box office, but there will be some place and you can ask a crew member, where do I go to make my show reservations? Sometimes you can also do those on the app after you've boarded. You don't have to at all if you're on one of the smaller or mid-sized ships. Reservations are not required. Once staterooms are ready, you can start moving in. Your SeaPass card will serve as your door key. Some people like to wear it on a lanyard. Some will keep it in their pocket. So you will need this with you all over the ship. They will also use your card as your onboard charges and as you exit and re-enter the ship on port days. So this card is very important. If you lose it, make sure you report it to guest services and they will inactivate that card and give you a new card. If you happen to find your old card, it won't work anymore, so you may as well just pitch it. Your cabin steward will stop by sometime on embarkation day, and you can ask your cabin steward for anything that you might need. Perhaps you need an extra blanket for your bed, or more pillows or hangers, or you'd like to have an ice bucket in your room. Those are things that you can request from the cabin steward, and it's best if you do that on embarkation day. Your luggage will be delivered outside your stateroom sometime during embarkation day. If you have not received your luggage by dinner time, make sure you inform the cabin steward. They may need to go on a search, see if they were delivered to a wrong floor or if for some reason they wound up in security. That's when those photos of your luggage would come in very handy. I hope these hints have been helpful to you. I'm Shirley with Shirley's Journeys, and I hope all of your journeys are pleasant ones.